Okay, welcome friends. My Beast Ochoa channel that I have where I have my videos. I thought I would do something different, as in maybe have some local drummer friends come over and discuss maybe some of their history of their playing and stuff, and maybe even watch them play a little bit. It's just an idea I've come up with, and I thought maybe we'll give her a try. So Lewis here is going to be the first subject that we're going to try this with, and I will post it, and you know, if you like it, you know, hit like or give it a thumbs up or whatever. I'll put it on my Beast Ochoa YouTube channel, and then maybe we can do some more with some more local guys that play drums here that I know that have been around and that are very, very talented. So let's go ahead and get started. Basically, we're going to just talk about local music and bands and stuff like that. So I like the scene. I like how there's always a group coming up with good musicians, and they bring a different element. So you can go check them out, whether it be a tribute band or an original band or a cover band. So I think it's really cool that people keep putting projects together and showcasing them. So you have a chance to go check out something you just really might like. So Lewis, kind of tell me about, like, when you were growing up, what was your influences? What did you like? You know, kind of just take us from when you first started, what your influences were, and bands that you were in, and you know, how it's transpired to where you're at now, and what are you doing now, and what do you think you might want to do in the future? So kind of give us your input on that.
So, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you having me here. Man, I'm 47 years old, and that goes way back.
Does it?
Yeah. I guess it all started when I was around 11 years old.
Right.
I was introduced to Peter Criss, Kiss, and I just loved Peter Criss, Ace Frehley. They were just iconic to me.
Yes.
And I had, they were just amazing. And I guess from that year, band came up in school, and that's when I took the drums, started playing drums.
So in marching band, is that what you said?
Just normal band. I believe I was like in 6th grade.
Oh, okay,
When that started.
Okay.
And then things developed from there to where the school wanted a jazz band, and they purchased a drum set so we could start a jazz program.
That's
Started
awesome.
doing that, and then happened to have a good guitar player in that band that was a huge metalhead.
Oh, wow.
And he was a really good jazz musician too for his age, and from that point I begged my parents for some drums because I wanted to play drums. So
Right, I know that feeling.
yeah, and finally, my father, he got me a nice set of little drums,
Right.
and from that point we played all the time. I know
Right.
I drove my parents, my neighbors crazy the whole time, me and my buddy, and I guess from there, it wasn't until it wasn't in high school until I finally got my first band started, and then was able to pursue.
So where
after
did you meet guys to get a band started?
Well, it didn't start until I moved to Wichita Falls. Go Coyotes! And I started at Old High here. Started high school out here,
okay.
and met a few friends that were musicians, or well, actually they weren't really musicians at the time.
Right.
But of course, shout out James Cook. He was me and him hit it off in high school right away.
Oh, wow.
And I already had drums and guitars,
That's
and he
awesome.
would come over all the time. We mess around and play around with that, play
Right,
with the instruments
right,
and stuff.
right.
And eventually we started a band.
Wow.
And we were called Floor.
Floor.
We called Floor.
Really?
That's how we started out. Hey, we won the Battle of Banfield too.
Hey.
But that was a long time ago.
I know
And
what you're
then
saying.
that band, I think we pursued it even after high school, during college years, and
Right.
and then of course we moved around, and then finally I ended up having to move back to Wichita Falls.
So
the band broke up.
you moved here from where?
I'm originally from Oklahoma.
Okay,
A little town
okay.
called Clinton, Oklahoma.
Okay,
Western-
okay,
western
okay,
Oklahoma.
okay.
And I moved to Wichita Falls.
Okay.
Like my,
So your first exposure to musician was here?
yeah.
Okay,
An actual
okay.
real musician.
Okay, but
yeah.
you had been playing and practicing prior
Yeah,
to
prior.
getting here.
Exactly.
Okay,
I
so when
was
you got
playing-
here, you're like, wow.
Just like I do now.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And then from there, I mean, after the band was broke up, I guess, I just jammed with other musicians and
Right.
jammed with other bands, and then I did that for a while, and then of course, got a family, and then
Yeah,
eventually
yeah.
I had to go to work, and my
Yeah,
job always
yeah.
caused me to travel a lot, and
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to be in an actual band.
Sure.
Or it was
It's,
back.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of dedication and a lot of time.
It
and
is.
You got to have, the will to stay in it because, I mean, it's not always good, you know, 'cause whether it's conflict with band members or you get along with them or it's, you can't afford things or, you're trying to get a name for yourself and nobody wants to give you you only need, that one foot in the door to play a place or with somebody for somebody to see you, and then you can kind of go from there and then kind of build your own
Right.
crowd. But I understand that totally.
Yeah,
I totally understand
and
that.
of course I started. I got married, and then of course after moving around, it was just impossible to get in the band. But I always played. I
Yeah.
always had my drums, had my kit, and
That's awesome.
I've always
Yeah.
played on my own. Played guitar as well.
Oh, well,
and,
that's a plus.
and then finally, when I moved back to Wichita Falls in 2007, me and James Cook started a little band, little side
Okay.
gig together for a
Okay.
little bit. And then,
Okay.
of course, work calls, and I had to go out,
Yeah.
travel, and gone
Yeah.
long periods of time. And then,
Right.
and it was just like that all the time. So it just kept me really hard from committing to a band.
Yeah.
And,
dedicate.
And so it just, and I've been in few bands since then. I've jammed with quite a few bands since then.
Well, what
since
are
I've
some
been
of the
here.
other bands that you were
I
actually?
think the first band coming back to Wichita Falls with Mr. Cook, we had a little band called El Segundo with Dusty
really?
Potter,
Okay.
Dusty Potter, and
Yeah,
James
yeah.
Cook.
Local
And
music.
we got to do a couple shows right before having to get called out for
Right,
work and stuff.
right.
That was a really nice little project we did.
Good.
I just wish that would have went further. That was a really great opportunity. And then of course, then after that, I started jamming out with like Cody Tucker, John Richardson, Rob
Right.
Hearn, those guys.
Yeah,
From
all
Mr.
very well,
Fairchild,
great
those people.
musicians, great
They allowed me to store my drums at their jam pad.
Yeah, right,
Great place.
yeah.
That was just an awesome place. And of course, we started Blue Light Special Blues over there.
Oh, okay.
And then of course, work calls. And then of
Oh,
course,
man,
another drummer
yeah.
had to come in and take my place.
Wow, I know that.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
keep it going.
coming back after that, I believe we started another group called. Well, I think I started playing this band called A Formal Affair. They were a little band that come out of.
Now, I actually saw y'all play at a place called Bullies one evening, and I didn't know who y'all were or nothing. I'd heard the name, but I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, man, these guys are rocking,
But
man.
I believe at Bullies, that show was with the Doppelgangers. That was
The
original drummer
Okay,
for the
okay,
Doppelgangers.
okay.
Started
Well, it might have been
yeah.
at the Iron Horse, and I know I
At
saw
Iron
it.
Horse, yeah. We played
Okay,
Iron
at
Horse
the
all
Iron
the
Horse.
time.
I remember seeing you there, and I wasn't sure what to expect. The Doppelgangers I was familiar with, so yes. So
Did all those little projects and
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
every time I just get called out for work. I'm a claims adjuster.
Yeah,
but
yeah, well,
I
yeah,
do a lot of
thanks.
work, catastrophe work.
Right.
Until COVID hit and things changed a little.
Right.
Finally, you can stay home.
Yeah.
Working,
So-
which is nice.
So coming to right now, present. What are you doing now,
At this moment,
musically?
I'm just haven't had time. I mean, it's still. Let's see here. It's a good question. Waiting on to get some more drums.
Okay, okay.
I sold my drums a
Okay.
few years ago,
Okay.
and I bought them back just recently.
Okay, okay,
And
that's
so
good.
I'm gonna get those back out, and I'll be
Okay.
playing again. So
Awesome.
so most of the time, I have drum pads at home that
Yeah.
I still
So in your
practice
opinion,
and keep my chops up.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So in your opinion, the layover hasn't affected your playing in your mind? Do you think? I mean, you're like, man, I really need to practice, or do you think
Oh,
I still
yeah.
got it, or what? I mean, what
Still
do you
got to practice. I mean, practice all the time, but it's different without having a drum set.
Well,
It's
sure,
been like
sure it is.
It's been almost 3 years without a drum set now. It's a little over 2 years,
Okay.
and it sucks. But I'll be back. I'll have them here. I'll have my DW collector's kit here.
That's
shortly.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Well,
and,
speaking of DW, let's go to equipment. So, what equipment or drum brands have you played throughout your history of playing? Have you been dedicated to one, or have you switched from one to another for whatever reason? Or I mean, kind of tell me equipment-wise. Let's talk equipment.
Okay. Good question. Glad you asked that. Basically, I started out with a Ludwig drum kit.
Okay. Perfect choice.
Great kit. And then after that, I bought a Pearl kit,
Okay.
and I had this
Pearl
Pearl kit for a good while, and it was a
Right.
great kit.
Yeah.
I love Pearl drums
Yes.
for a
I
long
did
time.
too. I was
and
like Pearl.
and then eventually, I sold that drum kit, and when I was looking for a new drum kit, there was this new brand from DW that was out. I don't know how new it was. It was
Right.
back in like 2003.
Okay.
And I played on this PDP kit.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
made by DW. It's
Right.
like one of the lower line drum kits.
Yes.
And it sounded great. I love the sound of that drum kit,
Yeah,
and
I
the
bet,
price
I
was
bet.
unbelievable. So I bought that drum set and
Wow.
put some nice heads on it, and
Yeah.
tuned them real good, and they sounded great for the longest
Wow.
time. And I've ever since that point, I've decided to join the DW
Okay.
lineup there.
Really?
And I've just according to their hardware,
Yeah.
I mean their pedals are just second to none.
You like
they're,
your stuff
they're
down.
the best to me,
Quality
in my
stuff.
opinion.
Well, let me
Yeah.
ask you this real quick. What did you do with the drum sets prior to that? Did you trade them in, sell them? I mean, what happened
I
to
would
the other stuff?
sell them. Used to
Okay.
like
So
my
you
Pearl
sell
kit.
and buy
When I
new
had
one?
my Pearl drum set, I sold them to a church, Baptist
Okay,
church here
okay,
in town,
okay.
a long time ago, and then of course I think I went without a drum set for about a year.
Right.
I
Okay.
believe I sold those Pearl stuff to buy this
Okay.
Camaro.
Cool.
There was this Camaro that I wanted, and I
That's a big
I sold,
choice
Yeah,
right there.
I needed
Yeah.
a car,
That's a hard
and
choice.
so I sold that
Yeah.
Pearl kit, and I bought this Camaro.
Dang it.
And then about a year later, I think, a little over a year later, I ended up getting those PDPs.
Okay.
And
That's awesome.
and it wasn't until later on, I think around 2011, I found that my DW Collector Series
Right,
that
okay.
I still have.
Wow.
And well, not physically at the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
I will
but
have
yeah,
that
you
back
want-
here.
okay,
It's the same
okay.
kit.
Okay.
And it's a DW Collector's 2008 model. And I bought those in 2011.
Okay.
And
So you
they
like the
sound
DW?
great in
Okay,
studio.
that's awesome. I totally agree with you on that.
I love them. They sound great.
What about let's go to cymbals and stuff. You know, the main cymbals, of course, back in the day were Zildjian and
Yep.
Feisty, and I played them both. Great cymbals. But as you got through the years, all of a sudden there was like another brand and another brand, and you're like, are they any good? You know, so. Have you ventured into trying other brands, or have you stuck with the traditional Zildjian and/or Paisley?
I've played with the Zildjian has always been my go-to cymbals,
Right.
and their hi-hats have always been the best to me. And I've just loved their hi-hats for the longest time. And then I did switch over to Pasties,
Right.
or Paisty,
Yeah.
for a little bit, and they were great cymbals.
Yeah.
But just I don't know. I just love the Zildjian stuff, so I ended up getting
Okay.
rid of the Paisties
Okay.
and
Staying with the
again,
Zildjian.
to having my whole kit all decked out with all 8 customs.
Okay, that's the next question.
Yeah,
Is what
yeah.
line of cymbals? Each cymbal brand has a line from here to here.
Correct.
And a lot of them are particular matched to like some types of music, where a lot of them will do all kinds of music. So I was gonna see what lines that you were thinking that you liked.
Yeah, well, the 8 customs as far as my crashes and ride cymbals, I love the 8 customs. They're
Right.
my hi-hats.
Yeah.
I've had the same pair of hi-hats for
Oh,
a long
really?
time. They
Wow.
were the new beats.
Yeah,
Zildjian
yeah, the
Vitas,
new beats, yeah,
And
yeah.
I just love those hi-hats. And
That's
I
awesome.
had that set for
Mhm.
the longest time until, I don't know when it happened, but I was out of town and I had my drums and cymbals all in storage.
Yeah.
And one day I show up and my whole cymbal bag
Oh,
is gone.
man.
$3,000 worth of cymbals. Is gone.
You know, it's a
And I don't
small.
know if I lost them or if I have no idea.
You know, they're
What
small
happened
and
to
they're in a bag, like you said, but they're so easy to. I can see that happening, but I mean, you know how expensive they were
Yeah.
or are.
It took a lifetime
And,
to get all that
man,
stuff.
you know, it's all brass, dude. It's like owning gold.
Right?
In drummers world, you know, it's like, man, that's like my gold bars, you know, because
Right.
you have to pay so much for
Oh, I
these
know.
damn cymbals.
The cymbals is a whole nother.
Yeah,
Whole nother
absolutely.
business. You think you got everything, you got your drums, so
No,
you gotta
you
get
still
those
got a few
cymbals,
$1,000
nothing,
worth
another-
of cymbals you gotta
Exactly. So I decided after my eight customs were just gone, missing, stolen, whatever.
Mhm.
I decided to try something new. I tried out the Mino Byzance line.
Okay, okay.
I'm really loving.
Really?
Loving the Byzance line.
Yeah.
Mino's got some, and they look cool. They sound great.
I've noticed
And,
some brands. I'm not sure which brand it is, but some of them are like earthy looking. They almost look like they just came out of the dirt.
Right.
Have you ever?
Yeah, that's and it's that's what I was curious to how they would sound because of that.
You know?
Just by the look.
Yeah,
you can't,
by the look.
You can't judge the cymbal by the way it looks. For sure.
No.
Those things are as crisp as can be. As
Really?
Zildjian. It just depends on what series you get.
Yes, what
But
series
they
you
have.
get, yeah.
They have
Mhm.
a cymbal that's identical to any Zildjian line you have, pretty much.
Okay.
And
okay.
it's just finding that right Byzance sign,
Yeah.
Byzance symbol.
Because I started seeing all these different brands, you know, when I watch videos of other bands and stuff, I'd see a logo that I didn't recognize. I'm like, and I'd get on, you know, I'm like, what the hell's that symbol? And I get
I
on
dig 'em.
YouTube and I try to listen to see what it sounded like and stuff. But, you know, I'm just so old school that I just stick with what I know and I like. Not saying that them other ones aren't good. They are good. It's just, you know, it's just, golly, there's just so much variety now for a drummer. A drummer
Right.
starting out now
Exactly.
has like way more
Oh,
options
yes,
than
I
me and
know.
you did
Yeah.
back in the day. I mean, we, like you said, we only had a couple of options, and
Correct.
Zildjian was always the symbol
Yeah.
of choice unless you got something like cheaper, you know.
Right.
You could get those.
CBTs.
CBTs, camber. What is
Yeah.
camber symbol? You remember those
Yeah, I
camber? They
remember
were
camber.
silver.
Wuhan.
Man, it was like, if it was a symbol, you
Hey, those
didn't
Wuhans
care.
weren't that bad.
But
I remember they make great splashes.
Yeah, but back then you didn't
Trying to-
care. You didn't care because all you were worried about is I got some symbols.
Yeah,
You didn't
exactly.
care if they sound like trash can.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
just had some symbols. I mean, until you know you move along and then you say maybe I can afford that $300 symbol, you know, and then you like, oh wow, this
Yep.
sounds way better.
Yeah.
You know.
It was Mike Johnson watching his YouTube videos
Okay.
that turned me on to the Mino
Oh, really?
lineup.
Okay.
And 'cause I was watching a lot of it, and just loved his sound.
Yeah.
And of course Benny Greb, another drummer that uses
Yeah,
Mino.
yeah.
And I just always watching their videos, and I just love his sound. And
Yeah.
So I started buying the Mino lineup.
That's awesome.
And so far, I mean, I've got a lot more to build up on it.
Sure,
and stuff, but
absolutely.
I want my kit just covered in cymbals.
Yeah.
And,
don't
like
we
we got
all?
here.
Yeah, don't
It's
we all?
perfect. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: another, what drummers affected you the most? Which you told me in the early days, but I mean like now, because there's been so many bands that's come through between the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Is there any drummers like now that you like, even though you like the old school drummers from way back then? I mean, because I noticed there's a lot of, I don't know, they play different. I don't. It's hard to explain. They're a little more intricate.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just saying, if you have any other drummers nowadays,
Yeah,
that you like.
there's an endless amount of drummers. And I mean, it started out, of course, with Peter Criss.
Yeah,
And of
yeah.
course, from Peter Criss, really was influenced with Eric Carr's drummer. The whole Kiss was drummers.
Yes,
Eric
yes,
Carr,
right,
Eric
right,
Singer.
yeah.
I was huge fans of the way they drum. And of course, I was also a huge fan of Carter Beauford's drumming from
okay.
Dave Matthews.
Oh,
Loved his
okay,
style.
yes, yeah.
And back in the late 90s, I was really working on mixing the styles too.
Yeah, well,
And,
that's another thing also. Usually when you're playing drums and you start out with one type of, say, music that you like, or style. Let's just say drumming style, whether it's hard rock or blues. I mean, it could be blues, it could be country. Did your style, did you favor one style over another? Or are you like
No.
dead set on
I like-
this kind of a drummer?
I just play what I feel, and I just play how what I feel. I can't really explain it, but I know. I mean, I've listened to so much of Eric Singer style of playing, so much of Carter Beauford style of playing, and of course then you got a lot. There's a lot of drummers out there.
There is. There's a
And,
tremendous amount of drummers out there.
Like right now, as far as drummers wise, I'd like. I still watch a lot of Thomas Lane videos and even Mike Johnson's video drumming. Their drumming videos are just they're very.
Is there any one drummer style that you would love to emulate as far as like I'd like to play just like that if I could?
No, I can't think of really. I've always liked Jose, what's his name, from Incubus.
Yeah,
that
okay.
drummer. That's a style of music too. I like that style of music.
Exactly.
That I was a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
Part of drummers. That's one of the reasons why I started thinking he does drums because
Right.
And there's a drummer from Chad Sizzlika, his name is from. He was a drummer for Breaking Benjamin for a
Okay.
Great drummer too.
Oh, I bet.
Fantastic drummer.
Yeah.
And oh man. But right now, I mean, I just like I said, I say what I feel.
Yeah, that's
some of my old school stuff still comes
Sure.
out, and I still try to mix it up with new
Well,
techniques.
you know that's the thing about it. If you're going to play drums or you start out playing drums, you know you have to take in different styles in order to create your style, because every drummer has a bit of somebody else, whether you know you believe that or not, but they do because they're influenced by somebody they like.
Yes.
And not that they're trying to emulate that, but it comes out in their playing, and you're like, it's just the way it is. Because otherwise, how would you have any knowledge of drumming if you didn't listen to other drummers? I mean, you can play to a point, but you can't. If you heard somebody else doing it and you try to incorporate it into your style, you take a little bit from this guy, a little bit from this guy.
Exactly.
I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Another drummer, I mean, I didn't think of their names earlier. Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dave Grohl. Wow, they're fantastic.
Aren't they?
They're on the top of my list.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's endless, but they all have different styles.
Exactly.
They all have different styles. And you're like, man, they're good at what they're doing. Like, let's just say Neil Peart of Rush. That guy, I'm sitting there thinking, golly, I didn't know you could play like that.
Right.
But it's not my style. I admire it tremendously, but it's not my style, so I wouldn't even think about like, I'm going to try to be like Neil Peart.
Neil Peart,
but
he
was like the top.
And
so
of course, you got to give credit to also. But I think probably, in my opinion, best drummer of all time for me, in my opinion, Danny Carey.
Danny Carey. Okay.
That's really the style too.
Yeah.
I would love to learn how to play.
Yeah.
That's,
and see what's really awesome is that the drummers have progressed to such a point where they're like their own entity of style, where like I said, back in the 70s and 80s, most drummers were pretty much straightforward.
Right.
And then as we moved through the decades, they got a little more technical, a little bit more technical, until you get to these guys like you see, like him, and you're like, how does that even?
I remember hearing Tool for the first time.
Right.
This guy's got to be using drum machines or something.
Right.
What in the world? This is unbelievable drumming. And,
Yeah, exactly.
It was awesome.
That's cool.
And that was back in the early high school days, and been a fan ever since.
Right.
I got to see Tool at the stuff about a year ago. Great show.
Wow.
Maybe I guess it was over a year ago.
That's awesome.
It was a great show. Danny Carey's still
Oh yeah.
one of the best.
Yeah, I know.
In the world.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's so many great drummers, for sure. Well, okay. Well, I'm hoping everybody kind of dug what we did, and if you like it, and you want to see maybe we can get another guy in here, and then maybe another guy, and get their perspective on stuff, and just hang out with them. If you like it, just let me know in the comments. If you say, hey, I'd like to see another, local drummer interviewed or whatever, and you know, just something to do, something different. You know, I know everybody's tired of watching me, so I wanted to do something different. I want to have other people that are fantastic local talented drummers to come just kind of talk and BS about stuff, and then, you know, would you be willing to throw down some licks?
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna
call my name.
All right. Well, we're here at the Beast Studio, but we're gonna call this the Beast Zone for now, and then we'll kind of just go from there. But we're gonna let Lewis jam out on these drums right here, and so why don't you take us out, Lewis?
Yeah, we need some more Wichita Falls drummers. I know there's a lot of them in this town too.
Heck yeah.
With Kenny, this is awesome, Kenny.
All right.
And let's cheers.
All right, here we go, Lewis.
See what you got here.
See what you got, buddy.
Hey, I'm gonna be a little rusty. It's been a long time.
Oh, don't worry about rust. We all have rust.
I'll try to shake it off.
Yeah, right.